Hello there, friends. Welcome back to the Spaceblock series. I'm Icon, and we're recording episode 3 today. So, things that will happen today are expansion of my production here, and also considerations towards more space matter production, because this is going to be one of the most annoying things we'll have to do. Right now, I got more than enough uranium ore and crude oil barrels available, but I realized quickly, while thinking about how to produce more of that stuff, that uranium ore needs for the duplication process sulfuric acid, and for oil, well, we might be able of refining oil, but first off, do I look like I have an oil refinery? No. Can I produce oil refineries? Also no. So we're far away from that procedure as well. Probably, I guess that crude oil boiler is what we're going to need to duplicate these substances, but at the end of the day, this will only work with crude oil barrels, and barrels themselves also need steel to be produced, so TLDR, everything made out of space matter will be very high quality and pretty hard to produce. That's why I decided to put up a couple of extra assemblers for the basic bootstrap recipe. More because I figured that it seems to be one of the best solutions that I can come up with. The next thing I kept pondering about was thanks to the Discord for putting up the math for that. This recipe is way more cost efficient than this recipe because it might be only 20 units of stone, and this one needs landfill and science pack, therefore many different materials, but at the end of the day, this is way less material in total than this. Because, you know, it's gonna be easier to create more iron ore and more copper ore than creating 20 units of stone in the long run. But whatever we might do for the beginning, I think that I will start out with the production of these manually, and well, I figured that this is a good method of just using my excess materials in my inventory. We're also going to automate our metal production quite soon. There's a lot of things I have on my agenda lately. The most important things, though, landfill production. I really feel like we need that. It's bothering me so much that we seem to be incapable of producing that stuff for real. So I want to start out today with a proper procedure of automatic metal production, because it ain't that hard at the end of the day. I will keep these manually fed monstrosities here, of course, for the time being, because we actually need. But I want to do something very simple today. So we're going to need 0.3 units of iron ore per second. So that's a little bit of a hassle. So I won't be capable of producing these in a proper scale, I assume. But what we're now going to do is I want to be producing landfill via this recipe. Yes, I will be producing red science manually due to that, but I think it's absolutely worth the pain. And beyond that, speaking about pain, I want to create, well, let's create a couple of those for the science here. Wait a sec, I'm mistaken. So, you know what? I'm tired of manually doing this, so we're going to provide it like that. This is still a only a semi-automatic solution, but you know, at this point, I take any semi-automatic solution. So we're just going to dump in a couple of iron plates dump in all the copper plates here, and the rest will be as automatic as we can manage right now. Okay, so my plan was a quite simple one. I wanted to do 2 duplicators, because I like that design that you guys mentioned in the Discord. Yes, I do a lot of reference to the Discord server today because this was a very helpful thing. So we now will do it like that. We're going to input and, well, we're going to output here into this direction and input there. And this way, as soon as we have kickstarted the procedure, it should be no problem at all to keep feeding, to make sure that this beast keeps feeding itself. And with that, we will be finally capable of starting to shut down our other machineries. I like to use the fast inserters for that job, because this gives me that that good feeling that everything gets done in time. And now we're going to assign one of those dudes to the smelting. And this is not enough to produce, to max out the intake of that furnace, but it is enough to finally just get started with something. Yes, I need to manually feed that with coals too, for now. But honestly, a little bit of a coal production on the side is the least of my worries. So, it's all a little bit compact here. So, well, this is, after all, though, finally automated iron production, you know. And I want to do the same thing for copper here as well. This won't be a massively high-scale production, but we don't need that right now. I'm really, really happy if I can sustain myself through this phase of the game by producing something like that. I don't want to fill that whole chest. I'm not a big fan of big buffers. You have to move those buffers eventually. And the larger the buffer gets, the more annoying it'll be to move it. So I'm not a big fan of big buffers. Always try to avoid buffering as much as possible. It's more my approach. Okay, so we're going to make it like this in that scenario. And this is going to be the same machinery just for the copper. Here we go. Just a little bit of automation. The bare minimum, basically. So, output and input. There we go. Kickstart. Give power. There we go. So this way I'll at least automatically produce my platings now in a slow manner, but at least we will produce some. This will help me a lot along the way, because now we're capable of getting ourselves somewhere. It's already 36 plates being produced in the meantime. Not bad, isn't it? Okay, we need more assemblers than that. And also, of course, I won't stop manually crafting for now. But I think I might stop using this area like I do it right now. This doesn't look as efficient anymore. I do prefer the look of these a lot more. Oh, shoot. That was not what I intended. You guys noticed that, didn't you? So what I don't like about this right now, it's insanely small scale, and it has to be hand-fed with coals. But, you know, it is at least somewhat automatic. And 50 coals really get you far. So there we go. By the way, coals, I'm running low on those. Okay, I mean, that's a nice start, I think. Now the next thing I want to do is think about this one here. So we'll need a lot more materials to do that in a regular manner. Of course, the ideal thing would be to just automate this process of creating landfill, because I really don't like it too much to manually craft all that. But what can I do? For now, that's the best we can do. Alright. So, this would be running smooth as soon as we add a third of these assemblers into it. From that moment on, we will have a continuous production with kind of like maxed out stats. As you see here, this thing eats 0.313, and every single one of those just produces 0.1 as a net gain. So we will be not at 100%, but I don't care about 100%, honestly. Landfill. So why should I research that when I already have it? Steel processing. Steel is also pretty interesting, but not quite today. No. Research-wise, I mean, sure, I can go for these. Solar energy is the next big thing that I like to go for, but this'll need a lot of materials that I don't want to bring up here as well. So yeah, basically steel is the best technology to go for next, I think. Yeah. Let's do this. Okay. Quite happy though to see that we are at a point where, you know, automation is starting to be in reach. So let's continue here by removing these horrible contraptions and bring them into a more orderly way. I think that's going to be good, to be a good thing, because these constructions here, they were really good when I needed them, but they really don't have their we don't need them anymore. Okay. The good news about that, I got plenty of ores to feed these dudes with. So we're gonna do that. Also, this array here produces an excess of 100 coal in no time. It's also very good, so we can feed our furnaces a little bit more. And look at that, our constantly working furnaces here are really not that insanely consumptious with their fuel. So I'll keep this little array here, because I do like to be capable of manually producing some stuff, because I still have that much ore. But I want some more space matter, possibly. Because these space matter furnaces, they are the perfect solution to my problem here. Each of those produces exactly the amount I need to power one furnace. So at the end of the day, we will be capable of just running 2 space matter furnaces, and these will then fuel each a single furnace. This will be way more efficient than what we're doing right now, but you know, for now, I'll stay with inefficient. That's okay. Sometimes you have to do inefficient. The only thing making me sad is that I feel like I can't fit in another. Yeah, I actually can't. So there goes all my landfill again. This is horrible. This is truly the definition of pain. So, okay, I think that's why it's okay to produce some landfill out of stone early on. So there we go. Sadly, I can't remove land at this stage, but okay, whatever. I just want to max out the production of these, at least for now. So output and input. And we need some of that stuff to kickstart the production. Oh, come on, guys. Seriously? One piece of ore? Gotta be kidding me. Okay, cool. When you don't have enough ore anymore to kickstart your processes. It's really sad. Output and input. There we go. At least increase the efficiency of these babies a little bit before we start to produce the next nightmare. So, in a perfect world where I have enough room to do whatever I want to do, I'd be I'd be sorting the materials that I produce out of the bootstrap process and feed them into my smelter arrays. But I think we are far, far away from solutions like these, and therefore we should go for something else. Here we go. We're iron plates for this one, and we do accumulate a lot of wood here. Awesome. Okay. But since we don't have the necessary materials right now, I'll just let that run like this and plunder them from time to time. That's as far as I can see one of the best ways of dealing with it. I mean, the other way would be just to patch in a couple of belts and just store that stuff in a storage medium like a container. Yeah, well, let's do that for now. I know what I said about buffers a moment ago, but I want to be capable of sorting this stuff somehow. And here is where this whole operation turns horrible, because we don't have any control about what we're outputting here. And these crude oil barrels, they only stack up to 3, so this chest will be a hot mess in no time, but no problem. I'm okay with that. It's intended chaos. Okay. So I'm slowly realizing that my copper production is inadequate. Wonderful. That's what I like to see. What I don't like to see is that I ran out of landfill again, so I really, really need to do something about that problem, and preferably next. So that's the moment when I decided to put things on belts and stop buffering, and it was a good moment. Alrighty. This will look like garbage, but I don't care. Or... oh yeah, I know what I want to do. This will be good. So let's wait until I have the necessary belts, and I'm going to pipe it to that direction. Alrighty. So we're going to put it up there. And for this one, we're going to put it down there. Oh, beautiful. Working as intended. We just need to put the ground there. And then I'll just do this. And this way we'll just have both materials on one belt, because I figured that's the easiest way of providing the necessary materials for what I have in mind. I'm not sure if this will connect like I want it to, but it's a very, very satisfying thing to see. Our first semi-automatic crafted plates. It's only semi-automatic because I don't have a real plug-in for the coals yet, but one thing at a time. So what we're going to do next is one assembler for the gear wheels, one assembler for the science bags, And I just hope this will work out. Okay, do I really want to? No, I don't. Okay. So the next thing is another assembler. There's the tricky part. I now need to feed land. I need to produce landfill and need to feed landfill at the same time. But I'm starting to grow accustomed to these methods more and more. So here we go. Because I can't stand the handcrafting procedure of landfill anymore. I just can't, you know, it's too much. And now, I think the easiest way will be to go for the same procedure as before. We have an output and we have an input on the same way here. And of course, we need to kickstart this process with landfill. But now it should be capable of just providing for itself. And effectively multiply the amount of landfill that goes into this. And now we're going to replace this one with a fast one. And eventually I'll just expand over there and put the excess landfill into a chest. This is slow, but it works. I mean, it is at least a way of producing landfill for myself now. It's a start, isn't it? What I want to do next is, let's see, do these two. Yeah, just like I thought. I don't produce enough red signs at this point, so that's one thing I want to change. But at the same time, this is quite painful, gotta admit. But we're getting somewhere with that. So the starting phase of this mod is pretty brutal, gotta admit. Okay, we got steel researched. Steel axe is entirely useless. We don't need the gun either. Well, walls, gun turrets, optics. Optics is one must-have for solar energy. Let's go for that. Solar energy is really important, I'd say. Okay, these dudes are still working. I mean, eventually there should be the point where this happens. Exactly. Where a oversaturation is happening. Hooray! Oversaturation! What I'm going to do next is, well, let's see what we produced here. Okay, I'm actually after these materials. And we need a little bit of copper ore more. Wonderful. So, I want more space matter furnaces. But there's one thing I realized. They churn through the coals way faster than the other furnaces, so you really need to check out how much they consume. We start out so slowly here with this mod package, I had no clue. So let's, for example, pick up this recipe here. And we're doing that. Oh, wait a sec. It's not the right, that was not the right recipe. I need to pick this one. Alright, I just want to compute it on one of those dudes here. So this eats up 0.1 coal per second. Okay. What could that be? Huh. Okay, this is strange because according to that, they have the same consumption. It doesn't feel like that, that's why I'm so confused. And they got a different maximum consumption. Huh. Strange. I somehow don't believe my Helmod. But that's okay. Sometimes you have to mistrust the machine. Okay, so the other thing I want to do is start handcrafting that stuff. Because, you know, we can do. But it begins here that we're starting to output bigger numbers than we're putting in. That's good. I'm still a little bit annoyed that I can't fix up the necessary landfill amount there to to make it happen there, to expand. So this is such a brutal mod. I love it. It's way trickier than it looks like at the beginning. It's a very neat concept. Okay, so the next big thing that I want to go for is solar energy, but as we see here, it needs 250 science packs. This is not the vanilla amount, is it? Or am I wrong about that? I wonder if these science costs are tweaked. They certainly look tweaked to me. But whatever. So this is going to be really powerful, because I don't want to facilitate steam power too much here, because in general I feel like steam power feels a tad bit inferior to other methods of production here. And also it seems to me that I ain't got enough copper ore. So let's see, this thing does just feed itself. And it does overfeed itself a few cycles. Just wanted to check out how these actually work, you know. Okay, but luckily I'm now capable of hand multiplying my landfill like that. So yeah, this is a very, very heavy procedure. But at least I'm starting to produce landfill now. Okay, let's see. This should be actually enough for me to create enough room for that to happen. Wow, I didn't expect it to be that punishing. Okay, but now we should be capable of producing a second of these assemblers. So I just realized that I still need a little bit more to transport that stuff actually over there. You know, at least a little tiny belt, piece of belt must be there to transport that. And also, oh shoot, that's we need to rebuild that completely, I guess. But I guess we should have enough room for that. The little things, you know. Alright. So I got a little bit of landfill. Hooray! So I always think it's way easier when you go for a thing like that. Oh, there's not enough landfill for this. So we're going to do this like that, I'd say. For now, at least. There we go. I mean, we need to invest to get some returns now. Okay, so this dude will be fed here, and will provide for these two. They will provide for themselves here. And then this all goes down to this one bad factory here. Just want to save us some material, because you know this is by no means a large-scale production. But I want to at least want to max out the capacities of this one. No, I feared that this might be the case. At least the capacities of this one crappy array should be maxed out, you know. And the bright side on top of that is I also get to store my stuff more quickly there. Okay, so we got the landfill up there, and we also got the... This is now at least the proper ratio of things, you know. And I can't keep producing that stuff in my own pocket right now. Okay, next step, I want to do this all with blue inserters. There's a lot of tweaking and optimizing still going on here, but we're luckily slowly moving towards optimization. Slowly, painfully slowly, but we're getting there. It's my 4th unit of space matter in the making there as well, so all's well. All's well. So this will be needed in a much larger scale, but hey, what can I say? I at least am now capable of producing my landfill automatically. This makes me kind of happy, because hand producing that stuff was just too much for me, you know, bothering me too much. Now these dudes, they could use some reinforcements, don't you agree? I basically feel like there can't be too many of those, so let's replace our laboratory into that direction. Ah, look at that. My lab is actually out of copper plate. My factory here is actually out of copper plates. Who would have thought? Okay, so let's see. My power grid is not happy with me. Okay, so I'll stall these plans now, because obviously we need to amp up our power production now. But that's all going to happen in the next episode. So let's see. Green science packs will need transport belts and inserters. This is very, very hard for me to be automatically produced. But at the same time, do I really want to produce 250 green science packs per hand? I'm tempted. But let's see where this all leads us. Thanks for watching so far. Next episode, I don't know where we're going to head with that, but I am very happy with what I got here so far. It's really lovely, and we do produce landfill automatically, and this is truly, truly wonderful. Okay, my friends, see you next time. Drop me your comments down below if you have some really good ideas what I should or could do. Feel free to drop them there. I'm very happy to have you guys as my help here. So, catch you next time. Leave a thumbs up on that video to make it more visible to the rest of the YouTube. And of course, have a wonderful time. Check out the channel, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell to not miss anything in the future. See you next time. Bye-bye.